Hi guys, welcome to another tech video. Today we will talk about conditional access policies and how you can configure them. So a conditional access policy is how you can put some conditions to control the access to an application. So for an instance, if you want to control the access to your office applications, you can put some conditions. If the conditions are met, you can allow or block or enforce MFA to those applications. So in here you can see like we have few conditions in the slide, and the first one is use as attributes, and another condition can be devices. So how users use which applications to access your applications. Okay, so we can put conditions based on locations, we can put conditions on risk. By using these conditions, you can put three main outcomes for these conditions. So one, you can allow access to those applications, or if the conditions are met, you can enforce MFA. So user has to have MFA authentication to access that application, or if certain conditions are met, you can also block. So next we will see how you can configure a basic conditional access policy. I am going to sign into my Azure Active Directory, my Azure tenant. Okay, so when I get to my tenant, I'm going to go to my Azure Active Directory, and I'll show you that I have few users already configured here. So I'm going to go back to my directory, and I'm going to select security. So in security you can see like there are like few options that you can apply. So we are going to apply a conditional access policy today, so I'm going to select conditional access. In here you can see that there are already few defaultly configured policies here, but today we are going to create a new policy. So I'm going to select new policy, and when I come to new policy, you can see that there are a few conditions that I can apply, and also I have to give it a new name. So I'm going to give it a new name, new policy. Okay, and then I'm going to define my assignment. So I'm going to select assignments, and I'm going to select who this policy will apply to. So I'm going to select users and groups, and I'm going to select users and groups from here. So I'm going to select a user from the defined users. So I'm going to go with Adam here. I'm going to select Adam. I'm going to select, clicking on done. Okay, now we are going to define what are the applications that we are going to apply this conditional policy on. So I'm going to select cloud apps or actions. So I'm going to select apps, and I'm going to select here, and like there are few apps here, so I'm going to go with Office 365, which will include all the Office applications. I'm going to select that, select, and I'm going to select done. So now the policy will apply when the user is trying to access those applications. Okay, now we are going to define the condition. So in here I'm going to configure a conditional access policy on locations. So I'm going to go with locations, then select locations, and I'm going to configure yes, and I'm going to add it as any location, and I'm going to click on done. Okay, and done here as well. Okay, so in access control you can define what are the actions that the user has to perform to gain access to this application. So you can also block it as you can see here. So I'm going to prompt the user for a multi-factor authentication. I'm going to select that. And also I can have multiple conditions as well. As you can see, the device has to be compliant, or it has to be a hybrid or shady joined, things like that. So I'm going to just select multi-factor authentication for now, and I'm going to select require all selected controls, and okay, yeah, and that's it. So I'm going to enable this policy. Click on enable, okay, and select create. Okay, now the policy has been created. Now how you can see if the policy has been correctly configured? So what you can do is you can go to what if, and from here you can able to simulate what is the user's experience will be. So basically I'm going to select the user from here, go to select Adam, then I'm going to select the application which is going to log in. So in here we have already selected any application, any cloud application, so yeah, we don't have to change that. And we can enter a IP address to simulate which IP address he will be logging in from. So yeah, that IP I got this from what is my IP. Okay, and I'm going to select the country. Okay, and I'm going to keep the device platform, client application, and device state as it is, and I'm going to run this what if. Okay, so as you can see in the result, it will say that this policy, the new policy, has been applied, and it says to grant application access it requires multi-factor authentication. So we didn't put any session control policy, so we don't have that. So these the default policies are not applied, that's why they are in the policies that will not apply section. Okay, okay guys, since now we have configured the policy, let's see if the policy is actually applying to Adam as we have configured it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my other browser, and I'm going to go to portal.office.com. Okay, and I can see the Adam's account has been already configured here. I go to his account and I enter his password, and as we have configured we get the MFA prompt. Okay, and I got the MFA code here. And click on verify. I'm selecting no, and yep, now we have successfully logged into Adam's account, and as we have configured, the MFA policy did also trigger. Yeah, that's how you can configure basic conditional access policy, guys. Thank you.